So good morning everyone. So in the today's class let us learn about the engineering economy, that is fourth module in the construction management and entrepreneurship subject. So what do you mean by engineering economy? So in a general term, the engineering economy can be defined as a subset of economic concerned with the use and applications of economic principles in the analysis of engineering decisions. So while making any decisions in the field of engineering, so some of the principles are there, that is economic principles. So those will be followed and those will be applied in the field of engineering, and those will be analyzed, and after that it is implemented, and it mainly focuses on the decision making process, its context and environment. So this is the main thing in the engineering economy. So it's mainly focuses on the decision making process by utilizing or by applying the principles of economy. Then what are the principles of economy? So let us move to the principles of economy. So here, as I told, that this mainly, that is the economics is mainly depend upon the applications of engineering economic principles. So in the analysis of engineering decisions, then what are those principles of engineering economy? So here the following are the 7 principles of engineering economics. So what are those? The principle 1, that is develop the alternatives. So here when you want to make any choice or when you want to make any decision, so for example take, so if you want to build a 2 bhk house, then you need to make the decision of your own plan. Then what you will do? So you will take some of the alternative plans. So some alternative plans will be taken. So based on the some criteria, so you will select the best one among those alternatives, 2 or more alternatives. So like that the choice or decision is among the alternatives is done. So after the developing of some alternatives based on your requirement, and it is kept for the subsequent analysis. So this is the first principle, that is developing the alternatives. So then comes the second principle. So second principle is nothing but focuses on the differences. So what it means, as the name itself indicate, so it mainly focuses on the difference of those alternatives. So what is the main difference of those alternatives? That is which one we should select for the implementation. So those are all mainly depend upon some criteria. So based on those criteria and things involved in the alternatives, so the best one will be made for the implementation, or it is taken as a decision. So that is nothing but the focus on the differences. So next, the third principle is use a consistent viewpoint. So here it means the prospective outcomes of the alternatives, economic and others, should be consistently developed from a defined viewpoint. So whatever the things you want for your requirement, so based on that the alternatives will be developed. So mainly concerning or mainly focusing on your viewpoint, or your things need to be developed in those alternatives. So we need to develop those viewpoint or those things in those alternative plans. So the best one among them need to be chosen. So this is the third principle. Next comes the fourth principle, that is use a common unit of measure. Here we need to focus mainly on a common things. So common unit of measure. So what common thing we need to be focused. So that is the main thing. So common things will be focused on among the alternatives what we have developed earlier in the principle 1. So mainly those common things will be compared with those alternatives, so that we can choose the best one with an effective way. So next principle is consider all relevant criteria. So among those alternatives which have developed earlier, so we need to consider the relevant criteria, means whatever the criteria which are attached to those things. So what are the things we needed? So those relevant criteria will be separately analyzed among those alternatives and what we want. So that is the main thing. So there we need to focus and we need to develop we need to separate those the main plan or main decision among those alternatives. And the sixth principle is make uncertainty explicit. So which means uncertainty inherent in projecting for estimating the future outcomes of the alternatives recognized and their analysis and comparison. So whatever the unnecessary things are there or uncertainty things are there, so those will be recognized or those will be identified and those will be removed with the help of the analysis and comparison methods. And the last principle is revisit your decision. So here that is the seventh principle. You can say here improved decision making results from an adaptive process to the extent practicable. So here whatever the decisions we made, so that decision again we need to revisit, again we need to recheck. So if any things need to be added or if any things need to be removed, so those will be made according to your requirement, and the last or the final decision is made among those alternatives. So after that we need to implement those alternatives. So next comes the concept that is microeconomics and macroeconomics. So as we know that micro means small, macro means bigger than the micro. So here microeconomics deals with the analysis of individual units and small group of individual units such as individual income, price and demand for a product, supply of goods, etc. So as I told that micro means small, so here we are dealing with the small thing, that is individual units like price, demand for a product, individual income, like that we are dealing with the individual things. So next microeconomics, micro means which is bigger than the microeconomics. In the macroeconomics is the study of economic system as a whole. So here we are not dealing as a part. So here we are dealing with the economic system as a whole, means as a huge, not as a small. So that is nothing but macroeconomics. It deals with the study of aggregates covering the entire economy such as national income, national product, general price level, employment, aggregate demand, aggregate supply and so on. So as I told that micro means a small thing, it comes to an individual level. So macro means it's an whole, not a part, it's an whole thing which comes, or you can say that national level income, national product, general price level, employment, aggregate demand, aggregate supply, like that. So those will be called as macroeconomics, and the macroeconomics is focused on the movement and trends in the economic as a whole, not as a part, as a whole. If it is a part, then it will come under microeconomics. And while in microeconomics focus is placed on the factors that affects the decision made by the firms and individuals. So whatever the decisions made by the firms or the individuals, so that will come under microeconomics. If the decisions made under the trends or the movements in the entire economy as a whole, so that will come under macroeconomics. So next we learn about the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. So here first one, definition. So as I told that microeconomics is the study of particular firm or a particular household, individual, price, wages, so which will deal with the particularly or individually, whereas Macroeconomics is concerned with the variables as the aggregate volume of the output of an economy, or it deals as a whole, not as a part but as a whole. So that is the first difference we can see, that is definition. Second one, objectives. So the main objective of macroeconomics is the optimum allocation of resources. So as I told that it deals with the smaller thing or up to individual part. So optimum allocation of resource is the main objective of microeconomics, and the objective of macroeconomics is full employment and the development of economic resources. So this is the main objective of macroeconomics. So that is development of economic resources. So next, demand depends. So third one, consumers expectations and the price of the particular product. So demand depends mainly on the consumer expectations and the price of the particular product, that is individual product. So here the demand mainly depends on the household expectations and the price of all the product, not only individual product, because it comes under macroeconomics. So next, supply demands. So supply demands mainly depends on the expectations of profits by firms and the price of the goods and services. So here supply demands mainly focus on the producers expectations and the total production cost. So in case of macroeconomics, so it will mainly focus on the production cost, but in case of microeconomics it mainly focuses on the firms as well as goods and services. So next, nature of activity. Microeconomics is based on the disaggregation. So as it works as an individual part, so it based on the disaggregation, whereas microeconomics based on the aggregation part, because it works as an whole, not as a part. So next, sixth one, assumptions. Microeconomics is assumed that there is full employment because it works or it comes through an individual level or through an individual part. So whereas macroeconomics is assumed that allocation of resources is constant because it works as a whole, not as a part. So it assumes that the allocation of resources is constant, but whereas microeconomics is assumed that there is full employment because each and every individual, it assumes that each and every individual has its own firms. So for that reason it assumes the full employment. So next, seventh one, equilibrium. Equilibrium occurs when the quantity demand equals the quantity supplied. So here in the case of microeconomics, the equilibrium comes when the quantity demand equals to quantity supplied, whereas in the case of macroeconomics, equilibrium is an economy occurs when the aggregate demand equals to the aggregate supply, because it acts as a whole. So entire whole aggregate demand equals to the aggregate supply, then only the equilibrium comes to picture. So next, price. So there is a price for each goods and services that will clear the market. And in the case of macroeconomics, there is a price level in an economy at which the aggregate demand will equals to the aggregate supply. So if the aggregate demand is equals to aggregate supply, then the price of an economy comes to picture. So these are the differences we can see between microeconomics and macroeconomics.